Jen, how are you today?
Hi, I'm good.
Hi. First, I want to apologize for my video being a little laggy, but I can still see you perfectly. But I would like to apologize for that. How was your week?
It's okay. It was good. Things have gotten a lot better.
That's good to hear. So just to review a little bit, I wanted to focus more on the goals that we discussed about last week. Do you remember them?
Yeah,
Yeah, just
sort of.
just to clarify them, and I just want to make sure that these are right with you. You wanted to work on your anxiety management a little bit more, and then you wanted to spend more time with your family,
Yes.
right? Okay. Um, okay, well, for today, I want to put an actual plan into action so we can meet those goals for you. Is that okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, so let me ask you for the past week, were you able to come up with any ideas of your own that you applied for your anxiety or your time with your family better at work or daily living?
I did actually. I sat down with both my bosses and I just let them know what was going on and how I was feeling. And they actually responded really well. I let them know that it just at times seemed like it was a lot of workload on me. So they let me know that they were going to do better with staffing and not to overload me so much. And then I also went ahead and let them know that in the future, sometime soon, I would like to take some time off so I can spend some time with my girls and my grandmother.
Oh wow, that's good. I'm glad you were able to speak to both of your bosses. I know that can be a little intimidating sometimes, but that does take a lot of courage and um, a lot of um, yeah, a lot of courage, and it takes a lot for you to do that. So I'm proud of you that you were able to do that by yourself.
Yeah, it was a little scary at first because, no one really knows how their bosses are going to react,
Mm-hmm.
especially to kind of like saying basically, hey, I don't want to work so much or so hard because,
Mm-hmm.
it's their business, so they're worried about making money, but they were
Mm-hmm.
actually very understanding. And once I saw that that was the reaction I was gonna get, I
Mm-hmm.
felt a lot more comfortable being more open with them.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit. What were you feeling? What was going through your mind when you were having those conversations with each boss?
Well, at first, before we even started, like I literally like I bit all my nails off. I was so nervous.
Mm-hmm.
I usually don't, like to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it's a bad habit, anyways, but I don't usually do that unless I'm really, really nervous. So
Mm-hmm.
that happened, and then when they walked in, at first, I couldn't. I did that thing where I forgot what I was gonna say, so I sat
Mm-hmm.
there in silence for like a good while until they were like, "So you wanted to talk about something?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, being nervous,
So
yeah.
it's very
Mm-hmm.
nerve-wracking.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and the nail biting, it's, a natural response to anxiety for many of us. So that's totally understandable as well. But yeah, like I said, it took a lot of courage, and it's good that you were able to speak about yourself, about that, because that means you're growing as a person, you're taking care of your mental health, and you're taking care of, your family, and you're kind of putting yourself first, and that's a big step for you to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so well, for today, like I said, I want to talk to you about a little bit on the goal plan and setting it. Um, for the actual goals, if it's okay with you, I kind of want to talk about the technique that I want to use. A lot of professionals use this called CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. It kind of digs into your conscious and unconscious beliefs. It can change your thought patterns and ultimately change your behavior, which is what we're trying to do mostly with your anxiety. So, if it's okay with you, I would like to get your consent so we can use this technique for your treatment plan.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay. And okay, so since we're gonna be doing that, we want to focus more on your anxiety first, since that was your number one goal. And there are many different tools and sources that I can provide you with, so we can use this technique for your anxiety. Um, you mentioned that you started taking breaks more at work as well, and when you were having anxiety at work, did you kind of try to calm yourself down a little bit? Did any events happen during that week that has passed by that you kind of applied to yourself?
Yeah, I did because that was the only way I was able to finish out my shifts was taking those breaks and just, kind of reaffirming myself that, this is just 8 hours. You can do this.
Mm-hmm.
You've done this, it's not anything that's gonna kill you. It's not anything that's life threatening.
Mm-hmm.
You you can pass through this.
Yeah.
This is just momentary. It's not permanent. It's uncomfortable, but it's not, forever.
Right.
It'll pass.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and that's exactly what CBT is about as well. Did you feel that you benefited from that technique using that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like at first it was really hard because it's like, you know, you're kind of just sitting there telling yourself these are just words, but
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of one of those things like the more and more you drill it into your head, you start to believe it.
Mm-hmm. And it causes you to change your behavior. Mm-hmm. Yeah, correct. You're right. Okay, well, obviously, I think you covered, but the gist of CBT is, applying that to your everyday living. There are two relaxing techniques that you can use. One of them is called relaxed breathing, and then the other one is muscle relaxation. So, like you mentioned you before, you just take a break, think to yourself, I can do this, just one thing at a time, and take deep breaths in, take deep breaths out, and that'll help you with your anxiety on a daily basis. And then relaxed muscles, that's another big factor into this. I know your mom, you have three kids, and you take care of your grandmother, but going home, taking a nice relaxing bath with bubbles if you want, doing the salts as well, that can be very beneficial, using essential oils, and even giving yourself a massage that can help out a lot with the relaxation problems, and it can kind of ease your anxiety a little bit. So if you haven't done so already, we can definitely try doing that as part of your homework assignment if that doesn't sound too bad to you.
No, that sounds really good.
Okay. And then another thing like that I know you've been applying to before is, when you start having those panicky feelings or that anxious feelings or that overwhelmed feelings that you feel at work or at home or any event that you're on, taking a step back and thinking, okay, let me take a breather, let me think about this, let me process what's going on. I can do this. I just need to do this first, this second, and kind of set a little schedule for you to get your tasks done, especially at work, because I know you have two jobs. That can help out a lot too. So taking a step back, and just say, I can do this. I can put my mind into it. I got this. That's another, that positive thinking, that positive reassurance that you can give yourself, that can help out a lot as well. And that can cause, your actions to be better than having no actions at all. And then, crumbling and having all those negative thoughts take over. We're trying to stay away from that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
And like you mentioned, I think you kind of covered yourself with that, and I think if you keep up with it on a daily basis and use it more and more, it's going to become like a routine to you, and it'll help out in
Yeah.
the long run. Yeah. So before we end today, I would like to give you a couple homework assignments. I know when we first met, you mentioned that you've done therapy before, counseling before, and you really enjoyed and found beneficial the homework assignments. So obviously, I think that's a good idea too. So I would like to leave you with two today. Um, the first one is I'm gonna email you a worksheet. It's a coping style worksheet, so you just fill it out, and it's going to give you insight for you and me, and kind of teach us how you cope with situations in general, not just to the anxiety, but just in general. So it'll kind of help you and me come up with coping styles and just see what fits for you for any future treatments that we might do together. So you can fill that form out, and then I know this kind of a little, you've probably done this before, but journaling, have you done that before?
I have. It's actually really beneficial.
Right, yeah, I agree. I enjoyed it a lot too, but so if it's okay with you, I would like to leave you with the homework assignment of starting a journal. Maybe write on it a day, every day, every other day, whenever you can. It's just really going to help you personally understand your feelings and how you process those feelings, and see if there's a connection of events that tie those feelings to a certain time. So I just think journaling is it's a good way to keep written data, and it can help you
Yeah.
determine, kind of see what you feel, if there's a trigger, or if it's so, during a certain event or anything like that. So I think journaling can help you out. But I do have a little twist for you though. um, Whenever you do journal, I always want you to write something positive about yourself or something that happened that day. I also want you to write something that you're grateful for on a daily basis. That sound okay with you?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Well, so I'm gonna leave you with those two homework assignments, and then if it's okay with you, next week we can, review. We don't. I obviously don't have to read your journal, but we can review it and just see what you came up with. If there's any connections that you saw, and then that worksheet is gonna help us kind of determine how further we can tackle the treatment plan for you. Does that sound okay with you?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. All right, Jen. Well, if you have anything in between, just let me know. Otherwise, I will see you next week at the same time.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too.